Hello and welcome to our Providence Homestead. My name's Julie, and this is the next part 2 of the apple cider vinegar or apple scrap cider vinegar that we started. Today is day 12. Now, some people, you'll see different renditions on the internet. Sometimes people, I've seen them let the fermenting continue for just 7 to 10 days. I've seen it let it ferment for 2 to 4 weeks, that kind of thing. But what I decided to do was to keep letting it ferment until it stopped bubbling. And that was today. And I'll insert in here a couple different pictures. I think I took some pictures on day 3. I took some pictures on day 8. And that's when on day 8 is when I made a decision to just let it keep going as long as it was fermenting, as long as it was creating bubbles. So this morning when I checked it, there was a few bubbles, but not enough for me to continue because it's definitely giving off the apple cider vinegar smells in the kitchen. So I know it's ready to go to the next step. So that's what we're going to do today. Again, just to kind of remind those who perhaps didn't see part 1, and if you didn't, I encourage you to go back and watch that video. But we started with the apple scrap vinegar that was made with organic cores and peels, hard to say that sometimes, peels, P-E-E-L-S. And I also threw in a couple of just fresh apples. Now these were all organic apples and apple cores. So this first batch that I'm going to do, I consider it my organic batch of apple cider vinegar, apple scrap vinegar. The second batch was some green apples, some Granny Smith apples that we had in the refrigerator that my daughter purchased, but she decided she was not going to eat them. And instead of them going to waste, I decided to make apple scrap vinegar or apple cider vinegar with those, because it wasn't scrap, it was actually the whole apples. And made a batch for that I'm going to use for the chickens, and then to put in their water to help their overall health. Now, when I started, it's a gallon jar. I added all the scraps, and the scraps, it came to about, I'd say, 2/3 of the gallon jar. Now, the Granny Smith apple jar, again, a gallon-sized jar, it was pretty full, and I would encourage next time I've live and learn that next time I won't make the apples so full, because it just makes it more difficult to stir the apples each day. They were all jumping out and having a grand time on my counter. So that's the thing. So I put the apple scraps in, or the apples themselves, filled it with distilled or filtered water. Do not use city water that has chlorine and fluoride, and you do not want that in your apple cider vinegar of any kind. So either use filtered water or distilled water. Then I added a 1/4 cup of sugar, and for me, I used the cane sugar, and that was it. And then let it ferment, and it was so great. I got these from Little Hill Homestead, the little toppers that go on the gallon-sized jar, which made it much easier. If you don't have these, you can always use a piece of cloth, like an old t-shirt, put a rubber band around it, around the top. That will keep it secure. Don't use cheesecloth, because those have holes in it and you will develop some fruit flies potentially. And just stir it every day and let it go. And so I'm gonna let you see what it looks like today, and then we'll continue the process to get it to the next step. So hold on a second. So again, here you are. This is the gallon size. This is the apple scraps. And you can see, hopefully you can see, let me tilt you down a little bit. Whoop, hello. See, there's no more bubbles going on there. And like I said, I'm gonna go ahead and insert some pictures here of the different stages that got us this point. So I'll see you back in a few after you see those pictures. Okay, so here we are. I have a strainer with a collection container here, and I'm just going to pour this into here and strain out the apples. And hopefully I won't make too big of a mess. I'm known for making good messes in here. You just want to drop it all out. Make sure you get all those apple pieces. There's one that's trying to be a little stubborn in there. There you go. And as you can see, I don't know if you can see, there's some goodness there. I don't want to lose that. So I'm going to put just a little bit of distilled or filtered water in there, kind of wash it around a little bit, and then pour that through here. So hold on. Okay, so I only add a little bit of the filtered water. I'll just go ahead and pour that in here. It's pretty full as it is, but that's okay. Okay, so that's all in there, and it's pretty full. These are all the pieces, apple pieces, that were inside the jar. Just kind of letting it drain, move it around, make sure I've gotten all the goodness. I don't want to smash it because I don't want to cause apple pieces to go back through what is strained. And then I use this right here to use for canning. And I don't know if you can see how good that looks. Okay, so let's continue this. Here we go. Okay, this is going to be a true testament. Well, not bad. And there we go. Only made a slight mess. That's pretty good for me. Okay, I'm just going to wipe off the top here. Not because I'm canning it or anything, but just to kind of clean up some of my mess spray. And I'll put the top back on it. And I'll have to kind of remember to myself that the red one is the organic. See, here's my mess. Losing some goodness. So, but that's okay. And the pieces that, let me use this towel here. The pieces that I drained out, which is this right here, I will take this and feed some straight to the chickens just like this. And then I'll also put it in the freezer to keep. And then each day just give them a few pieces to kind of help with their overall health while the apple cider vinegar is still creating its goodness. Okay, so that's the first one. That's the organic apple scrap vinegar that I did. The next one is going to be the regular Granny Smith apple pieces, and that's going to be done the same way. I have another container here to hold the juices and another strainer, and I'm gonna go ahead and do that, and then I'll be right back with you. you know, no need to let you just see that part because I just did one. But if you need me to do it again, let me know. But otherwise, I'm just going to go on and save a little time. Now, before I strain it, I do want to let you see that there are no more bubbles. Let me make sure you can see it good. There's no more bubbles. This is the Granny Smith apples. There are no more bubbles in there, and that's how I know it's a good time to go ahead and strain this off and let it go on for the next step. So let me set you down here. Don't want you falling off, and I'll be right back. Okay, so that's done. I did strain off the ones that was made with the Granny Smith apples. And I guess subconsciously I made this decision, Granny Smith green, and that's the green top. So that's the way I'll know the difference between the two. The other thing you add that I forgot to mention was, and you can do this during the fermenting process or you can do it at this stage. But you add a little bit of apple cider vinegar to kind of give it a little kickstart. Now I did that when I first started. So it was the apples or apple scraps. It was a 1/4 cup of sugar or cane sugar. It was a couple glubs of the organic apple cider vinegar that I already had in my cupboard. And then the distilled or filtered water. That's what made up this batch here. But like I said, if you only use the apples and the distilled or filtered water and the sugar, then if you wanted to give it a little kickstart, then now would be the time to add a couple glubs of already made apple cider vinegar. And what that does is it just helps the process speed up a little bit. Now, again, there are different variations that you find across the internet. Some people say just let this sit for a month and it'll be ready. Some like their apple cider vinegar to be a little stronger. And if that's you, then you can let it go longer. This is not going to expire because it's vinegar. You can let it go for a year if you wanted to. It depends on how much you used your apple cider vinegar. Now, the best course of placing this is someplace out of the sun, in your pantry, in your cabinet, someplace like that, and just let it do its thing. You'd still want it to have some kind of breathable top on it, whether that's an old t-shirt with a rubber band tied around it or something like this. And that way it can still breathe and do its thing. The best thing about the apple cider vinegar is you could start using it when it's at a taste level that you like. Again, the longer it goes, the more it's going to taste like something you would find in the store. Now, apple cider vinegar that you purchase in the store has about a 5%, or does have a 5% acidity level. That's what you would use for canning. And that's probably what most people are used to as far as the level of acidity or strength of the apple cider vinegar taste. But this here will be lower in acids or that level. So that's why you would not want to use this process or this apple cider vinegar that I'm making, and I encourage you to make. You would not want to use that in your canning unless you test it and find that it's at that level. Now, the next time I go, once this is completed, the next time I decide to make apple cider vinegar, I won't have to necessarily use the couple glubs of a store-bought apple cider vinegar. I could just use a couple of this. And what will happen is, as this continues, this is the Granny Smith apples, it will form a gel-like substance. It may form on the bottom. Most of the time it forms on the top. That's called the mother, and that's where a lot of the good probiotics are, and the health benefits that comes with making the apple cider vinegar. So don't be alarmed if you see that. Again, I also encourage you, if you feel like that this is too much, a gallon size, in fact, I almost have See, this one it's a little bit more than half a gallon. And this one over here, it's probably about the same. Then you can use a quart size bottle and just get a couple apples, fill it, like I said, about 2/3 full. Instead of using a 1/4 cup of cane sugar or sugar, perhaps you just put a couple tablespoons in there. It's not for, the sugars are not going to continue to be in there. It's what the apples need to feed off of in order to create the fermenting process. So don't be alarmed if you're, diabetic, you don't want to add sugar. It's for different purposes, and that sugar will be used up and gone as this process continues, as it ferments. So I think that's it with the information I have. Again, I'm just going to set these in the cupboard. We were gone on vacation. That's why it's been a while since I did a video, and my daughter had to do the stirring every day, and well, she said it kept getting stronger and stronger every day, so that's why I knew it was getting time to be done. But that's it. I hope you enjoyed this video, and like I said, I encourage you to do it for yourself. And if you don't want to do the gallon size, which is perfectly fine, try it at the quart size level and just have fun with it. Now, you use this like most people use apple cider vinegar, a teaspoon or a tablespoon of this in some warm water. It helps your digestion. It helps your GI system. When it's completed, you can use it in salad dressings. You can, like, I'm going to be putting some in the water of the chickens to help with their GI system health and to keep them strong. So it's different uses. So whatever you normally use the apple cider vinegar from the store in, that's what you can use this for. Okay, so I'm gonna let you go and get this posted up soon so people know I'm still around and still here. So let me know how you do and what you decide to do. I'd love to hear your results. Okay, so till next time, hug your loved ones, tell them you love them, and we'll see you next time here at Our Providence Homestead. And please don't forget to like this video, comment, let me know how you're doing and what you thought about it, and subscribe. You never know what kind of videos are coming out. There is a big project we are working on right now that I decided not to make little snippets of videos, but it's just going to be one big video of the project that we're finishing outside. And that's it. So I'll see you next time at Our Providence Homestead. Take care. God bless. I forgot to show you. These are the 2 bags of the scraps, and that'll be going into the freezer for the chickens to enjoy. Or if you don't have chickens, it can go into your compost bin. If not that, then find someone with chickens. I'm sure they'd love to have it. Okay, bye. Okay, another PS or another tidbit. Once it's done to this, at the beginning stages, you had to stir this every day. Once it gets to this where we've strained it off, you don't have to do anything to it. Just let it breathe and live, okay? Finally, this is going to be it. I'll see you next time.